Let's kick off the year with a simple and fun quilling project. In this video, I'll guide you through the steps to craft a beautiful tulip-inspired quilling card design. So let's get started. I'll be using a blank greeting card that I cut from 300 GSM sheet of paper and folded in half. However, I won't be quilling directly onto this card. To make it sturdier and simplify the quilling process, I'll use an additional sheet of paper. I will use 6mm wide paper strips made from 300 GSM paper for the entire quilling design in two different colors, red and green. A small part of the design will also be crafted using 130 GSM paper. Let's start with the tulip blossom. For this, I use a red paper strip. First, curl the strip with a needle tool to make it easier to form the desired shape. Repeat this step as needed until the strip is smooth enough. Next, cut a small piece of the strip and use the handle of the slotted quilling tool to shape it. Press the middle of the strip onto the handle and curve it as shown. Make sure to craft a nice, even curve in the strip. In the next step, apply a small amount of glue to one end of the paper strip and attach both ends together. Hold them in place for a few seconds until the glue dries. This will create a hollow teardrop shape that forms the tulip blossom. I've also prepared two smaller teardrop shapes for the other flowers, using the same paper length for both. Once I've crafted all the teardrop shapes, I'll apply some glue along their edges and attach them to the card. Make sure to use a very thin layer of glue on the quilling shapes. Now here comes the white paper sheet. I attached a large teardrop shape in the center of the card and the smaller ones next to it, leaving a small gap between them. I will fill these gaps with leaves later. A very important tip for making your quilling look more professional is to remove any excess glue from the quilling shapes after attaching them to the card. I use a needle tool for this process. In the next steps, I'll add a bit more detail to the blossoms by attaching another petal. To do this, I fold a paper strip and cut it into a very small piece. Then, I attach the small piece next to the tip of the teardrop shape. And this is how the blossoms look after adding the extra petal. To enhance the flowers with an artistic touch, I roll a tight coil using 130 GSM paper strips. Since I don't want a center hole in the coil, I roll the strip tightly between my fingers instead of using a slotted quilling tool. This technique makes the entire design look more professional. After that, I let the tight coil naturally open up to get a loose coil. Next, I fill the inside of the teardrop shapes with these coils, placing the coil at the bottom of each blossom. This is how the tulips look after completing this step. Now let's move on to the stems of the flowers. For this, I use 300 GSM paper strips. As before, I curl the strips with a needle tool before shaping them. I prefer curved stems over straight ones to give the design a more natural and dynamic look. After measuring the strips, I cut them to the desired length and attach them to the card. Don't forget to wipe away any excess glue. To prepare the leaves, I fold a paper strip in half and trim the ends. Then, I apply a small amount of glue to one end of the paper strip and attach both ends together, leaving a tiny gap. This gap is important for crafting a gently curved shape for the leaves. Remember the gaps I left between the blossoms? Now I fill those gaps with leaves. I'll also add more leaves to the right and left sides of the flowers to complete the design. As a final touch, I'll add some 3mm white strips to the card. I apply glue to one side of the strips and attach one to the left edge of the card and another one to the bottom edge. After trimming the excess paper, I apply glue to the back of the card. Be sure to use a small amount of glue to prevent the card from warping. And finally, I attach my quilled tulip design to the blank greeting card, completing the project. I hope you enjoyed this quilling tulip design. And if you did, don't forget to press the like button. For more inspiration with floral quilling cards, like these snowdrop and lavender designs, check out the playlist right here. Thank you for watching and happy quilling!